Yo, Joe! Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, let's take a look at the Hasbro Pulse exclusive G.I. Joe Classified Series Deluxe Snake Eyes. Now, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to come up with something to say that's not just, G.I. Joe in 6-inch. This is one of those lines that I've been waiting for, a super long time to see in 6-inch scale. And while fan reaction probably wasn't as excited as Hasbro had hoped when they showed this line at Toy Fair this year, I don't know, I see a lot of people commenting about coming around to the looks. I mean, it's had to settle in, but I think the big determining factor here is everybody getting their hands on this Snake Eyes. And then we'll see how it goes from there, but right now I'm just excited to get hands on Snake Eyes. Looking at the package, your first reaction is you get the box and it is heavy. There is some heft to this thing. It's bigger than I expected. Can't even fit it within frame. Even with the slipcover on, it feels very deluxe. This design behind the G.I. Joe Classified Series logo. Warning up here, choking hazard, don't put them in your mouth. On the side, you get a little peek at what will happen when you take the slipcover off. On the back, essentially the same thing, but this is where we get all our warnings and legalese. Taking the slipcover off, you get that same design, but it's embossed on this heavy box. You can see the light reflecting off of it, and it's just, man, it makes it feel so fancy. That fancy design travels around to the side, all the way around, and then on the back, again, same picture embossed on the bottom. Open, damn it, open! Wrong franchise. Getting the cover off, there is this, ooh, that's cool. It's a heavy paper stock, and again, it's that same picture, but like it's drawn. This is almost frameable. I like this. But this is also where we get into the action figure meat and potatoes. Very nice foam insert. Pulling the Snake Eyes figures out. And we'll get into the rest of this, but I love the presentation here of all his extra weapons and then the weapons rack. This is closer to what we're gonna get at retail, but it is kind of grayscaled because, well, it's Snake Eyes. Nice little drawing of Snake Eyes. It shows most of what we get. I do see something hiding behind here. On the side, more Snake Eyes, and then, is that Timber down there? On the back, the big graphic that they showed at Toy Fair showing a bunch of different characters that I'm thinking we're gonna get in this line. In fact, do I have that right here? Hasbro did give this out at their presentation at Toy Fair, and it gives you a better look at some of the characters. Yes, the designs skew away from what we remember as a kid, but at the same time, I feel like the essence is there. On the other side, that same writing, this is 00. On the top, the Arashikage symbol, 00. Let's get into the figure because, woo, that's what we're here for. This packaging is so deluxe feeling that I almost hate to open it, but it's just a bunch of cardboard and plastic around my wanted plastic. Oh, is that an insert? You get this several times in several different forms. There's so much packaging here. Oh man, and out of the package, I've been having way too much fun with this thing so far. So many picture ideas, so many poses, so many accessories. Oh my God. There's a lot going on here, but the very essence of it is completely Snake Eyes. And in that aspect, I don't even mind all the extra stuff because options are good. And a lot of this you can do away with if you want. The strap coming around the chest is a separate piece and it tends to, get wonky, get out of the way. So if I had any gripe with any extra parts, it would be this, just because it seems a little bit clunky, but at the same time, going into battle, you're carrying some grenades. You need this pouch right here, for even more supplies. The belt is also a separate piece. It floats, it's not glued down, but that's mostly to get out of the way of articulation, I think. The thigh straps that have both the holster and the knife sheath, those are also separate pieces, so they float around. You can move them around, get them out of the way, and they do a good job of hiding the thigh articulation. And then the bicep straps are also separate pieces. You can rotate them around, but they don't have the problem, and this is the same for the thigh straps too, they don't just slide down on you like, say, the Marvel Legends Cyclops. Because of the sculpt of the figure itself, with the bicep being a little bulgy and then the bagginess of the pants, they do a good job of keeping in place even when you're going crazy with the poses. All those straps are cast in kind of a gray. In some pictures, they almost look olive drab green, I think. But in person, it's a gray color with kind of a silver sheen on top of it. And then a couple of paint apps here and there, the silver buckles on the thigh straps, the silver on the belt itself, the red of the Arashikage symbol. Getting up close, it is a little bit messy, but at normal distance, you won't even notice. And then there's black on the grenades for the strap. I haven't even started talking about the body because I wanted to show that you can easily take off anything you don't want to. Slide the bicep straps off. Thigh straps are a little bit tighter, which is not a problem at all. Get it down, but once you get past the thigh, easily. You're left with the belt, which doesn't have a cut anywhere. I guess it's put on before it's assembled. The shoulder harness is also a separate piece, cast in the same material, have a couple of silver paint apps punched in, again the Arashikage symbol, couple of silver dings in the back, and you could probably slide it off if you really wanted to, but you'll notice that the torso is sculpted for it to be in that place. So if you take it off, you'll see just a flat spot underneath. But with that sculpted part in there, it makes it seem like it's one piece of the torso. It's not sticking off, or it's not bulgy, it's not blocky. It's integrated really well. And that leaves us with the base body itself. At first you think, oh, the whole thing's just cast in black, nothing else, but then you start to notice the undersuit is a matte black, and then the armor plates sculpted on top are a glossy black. So there is paint in places where you don't hardly even notice it. But there are like rings or rivets on some of the armor plates to make it appear and to add a little bit to the realism that they are attached to these straps going around certain places. Inside of the arm, you see the straps. Those are painted brown, which is punched in several places, like here on the knuckle. Kind of a thumb pad, and then there's also brown around the top of the boot. And that's just another color that it adds to the overall look of the figure, but it's really subtle how it's punched in there. Those rings, because they're painted silver here and here, it'd be interesting to see how all those would look painted silver. Again, another color that comes from the mask, comes from the knee pads. You can see that there's studs all over the place right there. Don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic as is, but that's just something that popped in my head. And then down on the legs we have a regular pants look, almost fatigues. There's wrinkles, there's texture, there's a lot going on down here. The knee pads are cast in silver, and I say that because you can see that they're still shiny here, but they tried to break it up a little bit by painting silver on the top of the lower leg and the bottom of the upper leg. So it doesn't really stick out at you as being a different plastic color. And then they also threw silver up here on these kind of pads on the top of the leg. Again, a little subtle thing that they didn't really have to do, but it's a nice aesthetic that ties in from top to bottom. And then down at the boot, there's kind of a kick guard on the front of the shin. There's even pockets right there. And then of course the head, Snake Eyes ninja look, the silver visor coming around that no mortal man should be able to see out of. There is some added detail down here under it on the mouth part. There's like vent holes, you know, for breathing so you don't fog up that crazy visor. And then some more of the matte black plastic. Shiny gloss black painted on the side. Again, just a little bit extra mile there. Oop, forgot to point out that he has a little bit of ninja toe going on. But where this figure absolutely shines, and it shows that the team working on this at Hasbro has put a lot of love into this figure. They've integrated a bunch of the articulation from several different lines within Hasbro. And what we end up with here is we're damn spoiled is what it is. There's a ball joint at the top of the neck with a hinge under that, and then a ball joint down at the bottom of the neck, which is kind of brought over from the Star Wars line. So with that, you get up, the neck kicks forward a little bit, hinges down. Not a lot of openness in the skull, so tilt, it happens mostly at the bottom of the neck, but hell, there's still tilt. You can get some shift forward and back. Of course, swivel. At the shoulder, forward and back butterfly joint. That comes out to a swivel all the way around and a hinge that goes up to there. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow comes up just a little past 90. Let's see if we can do something about that. Unfortunately, just a little past 90. The bicep is a little bit bulgy. Swivel at the wrist and up and down because it's a trigger finger. The torso, oh my god, this is beautiful. There's a ab crunch at the mid-torso. You can come forward, go all the way back. But below that, to further enhance your crunching or your tilting, there is a ball joint. So working together, crunches all the way forward, all the way back, even further than all the way back. Tilt side to side, all the way around. The hips actually have a drop-down joint to give you more room forward and back. And that comes out to a ball joint in the hip. Forward past 90, back, all the way out. Beautiful. Ninja character, needed. You can also adjust his height a little bit like that, but you're going to get some gappiness. So when I go back to neutral position, swivel at the thigh, double knee comes, oh yeah. There's swivel at the boot, hinge at the ankle goes all the way back, forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker. I usually do not say this, but with all the articulation in this figure and the poses that you want to put Snake Eyes in, I kind of want a toe joint. I hate to say that because I don't usually care for toe joints, but here it would further add to the posability. It doesn't break my heart that it's not there, but as I was doing some poses, yeah, it would have helped a little bit. For accessories, oh my god, here we go. This is gonna be a long list. He comes with this backpack. It is beautifully sculpted. It has a lot of wrinkles to it. It looks like it's packed with all kinds of gear, you know, besides all the pouches the actual figure comes with. Some silver paint punched in on the buckles works really well. And it's again cast in that, well, the more I look at it, I say gray, and then I say beige, and then I say brown, then I say greenish. It's a cool sort of militaristic color that contrasts nicely off the black of the body. Peg hole. It's meant to gap up a little bit for that strap that comes around because that also has a hole in it if you want him fully geared up. But even without it, it looks fantastic. It kind of melds into the shoulder gear. Reminds me of the 80s when you would plug that backpack in there. Of course, he's going to come with a sword. It's cast all in black, which makes sense. It's Snake Eyes, so it would fit that motif. The grip is kind of weird with this kick out here. Almost a trigger guard, which makes sense because he has a trigger finger. The hands aren't the softest in the world, but I haven't really had too much of a problem getting the weapons in. Can't really get the trigger finger in that trigger guard, but not a problem at all. He holds it really well. And because of the articulation of the wrist and having a trigger finger, you can get the sword straight out. But he also has no problem holding it two-handed either. Of course, that's going to come with a sheath. Again, that same color, but there's also black painted down at the end. We have the arashikage. The sword goes in, and at the end, it kind of locks itself in, not going to fall out. There's even options for this. There's a hole in the side of the backpack that you can plug it into. That works great, looks great, but you can also take this, plug that into the back itself so you can just have that clean look. Comes with a pistol, goes into the hand great. You just slip it down in there, turn it where the trigger finger goes in the trigger guard. Notice the tip looks a little bit weird. It also comes with a suppressor. The suppressor itself is actually in that lighter color, which kind of contrasts against the black of the gun, but it's not too bad. The holster has a loop on the front where you can slip the suppressor into there. And then the holster is, well, custom fit for that pistol. Comes with a curved knife. It's serrated on the back there. The handle itself has those little rings or rivets that match up to Snake Eyes' actual armor. And that, of course, goes in the hand, or it goes in the sheath on the left side. Whenever you get around to posing it, yeah, the holster does run into it a little bit. Knife is a little bit worse because it sticks up and out, but separate piece, you can rotate it around, get your full articulation. I love this thing. And then, of course, Snake Eyes is going to come with an Uzi, right? Nice little sculpt, fits the overall look of the figure perfectly. I don't think it can store anywhere on the body, though. He comes with 2 trigger fingers. Both of those pull out, and it is an extra long peg with actually 2 snaps. So when you put the alternate hand in, kind of be careful because you don't want to get past the first snap and then start getting crazy with it. I felt like a couple of times I was going to bend the peg. It actually has a second pop in there. And with that, he comes with a flat palm that has kind of a climbing tool strap to it. You can see the strap comes all the way around the hand. And then for the left, he has a throwing star gripping hand. Sure, they could have given us separate shurikens. It would have been small, tiny, you put them in the hand. It works, but at the same time, I like this. I'm not going to lose this. This stays there. If I want to pose him around, he's going to be holding this the whole time, and it's not going to go flying off into the carpet monster. Unfortunately, those are the only extra hands here. I would have liked to seen fists, especially. I always want fists with every figure. Maybe the standard release will have fists or something, or we'll get other fists down the line. I don't know. I need to go searching, I guess. But at the same time, when I have Snake Eyes just standing around looking badass, he's probably going to be holding some weapons. It's not the end of the world. Haven't even opened the deluxe stuff yet. First up, this thing is amazing looking. This sculpture in the middle. Is that one sculpt or is that inlaid? I have these 2 wolves sculpted on both sides. Just a nice display, but if you want to turn it around, we have these hooks that's going to hold all these weapons I'm about to go through, and that's in the formation of, again, the arashikage symbol. And then the weapons we get with this deluxe edition, we get a long spear cast in a shiny black. It's got blades on both sides. It has kind of grooves in the middle. We get 2 of these axes. Again, same thing as the spear, cast in black, grooves for the handle. 2 sai, same deal. A sword with an extra long handle. 2 little sickles, and then another sword, which I feel is a little bit more classic inspired. Now let's see if I can get these on here without knocking them all off. I'm old and shaky and oh my god. Probably not how it's pictured on the official site, but the way the hooks are set up, you can put them however you want to. The hooks aren't super deep, and the balance is a little bit weird. But it's extra weapons for your snake eyes. It's a nice accessory, well, a very, very nice accessory, or a little background piece for your display. What am I killing bad guys with today? I think I especially like this sword. Size-wise, Snake Eyes is 6 1/8 inches tall. Here's the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Han Solo and the SH Figuarts Luke Skywalker. That's also really close to a lot of the import MCU figures, like the SH Figuarts Black Widow, Captain America, or Tony Stark. Then there's the Mafex Black Panther. Here's a couple of Power Rangers I got at this year's Hasbro presentation. For Marvel Legends, though, it seems a little bit, well, I don't know. It's damn close. The bodies are pretty close, but when it comes to the head and hands, Snake Eyes seems proportionally a bit smaller. And I threw Shang-Chi in there because I've seen a lot of people using him for Quick Kick. And then there's the Jazzwares Fortnite Legendary series. Everybody's first thought of this was, oh, Firefly. And I think it'll work. I just need a different head that's not so video game looking. Then there's the baddest bastard in the mercenary game. You and me, right now! You didn't think I was going to pass on this comparison, right? Here is the Fwoosh's Articulated Icons Deluxe White Ninja and Solitaire with a custom Snake Eyes head on it. And then just because I had them laying around, I've been waiting this long for a 6-inch Snake Eyes. Here is, I think, a Marvel Select Wolf. And then the Funko Game of Thrones smaller scale Ghost. The Select one is definitely more ferocious, looks ready to attack. This one's a little leaner, a little smaller, but a little more stable. So at the end of the day, oh, I feel like this figure's been a long time coming, and Hasbro delivers. I know I pointed out some nitpicks here and there, but man, I've been playing with this thing all day. I can't help it, it's just too fun. The overall look, the poses, the weapons, the accessories, the extras, oh my god. I know Hasbro's gonna come out with different versions, different looks later on down the line, but when it comes down to it, in my mind's eye, well, I've got a lot of pictures of Snake Eyes in my mind's eye, but when it comes to the ultimate version, this pretty much nails it. I wish I could keep on talking so I could show more pictures that I took, but I've got to quit at some point. There's only so much I can say that doesn't come out all, I love it, oh my god. Now I understand when they revealed Duke and Roadblock and Scarlet, it's kind of not everybody's mind's eye picture of those characters. Again, the essence is there, but they have some armors, they have some different colors painted on. The gold, I think, is my biggest nitpick. But after having Snake Eyes in hand, I'm excited about getting other characters to pair up with them. I need some villains for Snake Eyes to fight. I need some bad guys. I need a vehicle or two, even if it's the smaller ones. Give me a trouble bubble or something. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of G.I. Joes when I was a kid. I watched the hell out of the cartoon, but I only had certain figures because after Mask and Transformers and Masters of the Universe, I didn't have a lot of room for other stuff, and my parents sure as hell didn't want to buy even more stuff. And while I gazed lovingly at a bunch of the modern 3 3/4 inch figures, after I went 6-inch, I can't go back. That's just the kind of collector I am. So while we've been waiting a long time, I feel like the time was perfect after Hasbro got their articulation game down. The people behind this line could look at Marvel Legends, could look at Power Rangers, could even look at Overwatch, Star Wars Black Series, and pick and choose different things that they think would work in this line. And ooh, it works. It really, really works. So if you enjoyed the review, or me just gushing over Snake Eyes for too long, comment, like, subscribe, or whatever the platform you're watching this on allows. Much love to the plus. Right now, Dorkside Toys is doing a weekly contest to get yourself some free toys. So if you're interested in that, or just helping out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh.